I like that. Don't knock them all out. I thought that was funny. Pretty easy to figure out how they did that shot with Donatello's head under the water. Pretty much just placed the head right against the glass, and it deceivingly looks like he's underwater. Because literally, they would not be able to put an animatronic mask underwater. That would be too risky. Especially considering the fact that you still have the actor in that frickin' head. And a lot of people like to bring up the weapons that they look like rubber, but again, you're on a budget here, so you work with what you have. From what I can gather, only one weapon in this movie, two actually. Donatello's staff is actually real on a couple shots, mainly because it has to make contact with a couple hard surfaces, so it had to be real on a few shots. Raphael's size. The sides of the sides look like they were rubber, but the actual, the middle part is literally steel. I believe Leonardo's swords are rubber throughout the entire film, and sometimes they're actually plastic with foil, especially when we haven't reached that scene yet, especially when he's fighting the Shredder, mainly because even rubber, they don't want actors interacting with the rubber because rubber is still very hard, so I think they use plastic wrap with foil. It came across okay. I love that shot. I like the fact that the other turtles, you know, Donatello and Leonardo, are using weapons, fighting like mad, and just Michelangelo just gets two cymbals, just starts beating people up with cymbals. And I like this goofy music, you know. I just love how the tone shifts when the music gets more serious. Casey Jones. Such a funny character. And again, you know, serious music cue. Love the music. Now this is risky. Not a lot of sound stages allow this anymore. Fires. But particularly smaller sound stages. And that's got to be scary to a director, that his expensive costumes are literally around fire. Because you eventually reach the point, it's like, okay, we don't have much money here, ruin these costumes, and we're finished. I've always wondered how that ants, you know, I know it's, the voice is not done there, but I always wondered how an answering machine works when the cord is literally set on fire. But, you know, you gotta suspend some belief when it comes to movies. That's a great shot. I like that shot, and again, I hit my microphone, I apologize. I like that shot in the van. Mainly because, you know, it's all handheld, you know, it's moving to make it look like the van's moving. And again, I don't know what soundstage anymore that would allow a fire that big on a soundstage. Again, great handheld work. And I give credit to the actors on this one, because a lot of times, you know, the human actors are working with puppets and, you know, costumes, even though the mouths are moving. there's nothing coming out of the mouths. You know, they're not talking or anything. I'm not sure whether the actors are talking themselves to kind of help the actors out. But the timing, you know, the actors has to be perfect. And I'm not entirely sure what was done first, the voice acting or the shooting. I just love those two foot soldiers' reactions when their heads bang together. It's so corny. Tatsu, I haven't brought him up yet. Played by Toshishira Obata. Oh God, he has a tough name. Yeah, live action actor with the voice of Michael McConaughey. Michael McConaughey. Again, properly in sync. You know, when he says the tack in the fight scene, it actually was in sync, and it took me a while to figure out that it was two different actors handling that character. And you know, during Splinter scenes, you know, I always like watching them. You know, because again, you know, Splinter is such a well puppeteered character, and the voice, you know, is so perfect by Kevin Clash. You know, and Kevin Clash, in my view, is the only actor who could voice act for Splinter. All due respect to the actors in, you know, from the third movie and TMNT, you know, no disrespect to them at all, but you know, Kevin Clash was just perfect for this, and kind of disappointed that he didn't do the later films. And again, this is North Carolina. Looks so much like North Carolina. North Carolina is such a beautiful state. Now, I'm not sure whether they found this house or they built it. Pretty big house. And by the way, I hate shooting in other people's houses. You know, this is someone else's house. I hate that when we do that. Mainly because when you shoot in someone else's house, you have to provide for them. You have to get them hotel rooms. It's a hassle shooting in other people's houses. Broadzilla. That was probably a funny joke in 1990, kind of out of date now. Still slightly funny though. Slightly. I just love Michelangelo's expression. And you know, it's so interesting seeing such nice and calm shots like that compared to the second and third film, which you just have a shot of Donatello right outside of the house just humming, and you know, it's just shots like those that movies need, you know, just to see, you know, what they're doing with their time. And now you got April telling her story, you know, narrating these scenes. I did not understand this joke until I got older, mainly because I never paid attention to it. That they're insulting each other in alphabetical order. I would like to meet people who do that. And I might be mistaken. Did he just call Casey L flips? The hell is that? of a continuity error. Again, since I'm working in film, I kind of noticed these things, but Casey Jones was literally no more than an inch away from that truck when it turned on, and Donatello, if he had gone that far in the first shot, probably would have completely ran him over. Casey would not have had enough time to get away from the truck. And again, touching scene here, and again, great score by John DePrez. Just simple, guitar. I can only assume it's synth strings, like on a keyboard. It works really well. And you'll have to excuse me through this. I'm going to be drinking water throughout this entire commentary. It's a long movie. This shot I don't like, mainly because, like that, you can actually hear the camera equipment moving. That's lazy. And instead of, Steve Barron doing another shot, it might not, and, again, I have to consider both possibilities. He might have liked the performances and didn't want to change it. He probably did do more shots, but, sometimes you go for best performance, and that's what you got. Like Batman, Tim Burton's Batman, the first shot of the Joker in the movie when he comes out of the light, when he's like harassing his boss, about to kill his boss. You'll notice purple boot polish, because some of the white makeup on the Joker's face got onto the coat, so they painted the coat with purple boot polish, and it wound up getting on his neck. They didn't like the shot for that reason, but they liked Jack Nicholson's performance, but they kept it in because they liked the performance. And again, it's touching moments like this that aren't in the sequels. It's in TMNT a little bit, but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 don't have scenes like this, and that's kind of what separates them from this movie and makes this the better movie. It's not just about the violence. It's about the chemistry of the characters. The great acting, great performances by the voice actors, and you can kind of see Leonardo's shell bend there. No big deal. See the actor right there in Donatello's mouth. That's such a cool. It's an error, but it's a cool error. Now I was a little disappointed that they didn't show what Mikey was up to during that time. They showed Leonardo, Raphael, Donatello. They did not show Michelangelo. I was a little disappointed with that. I just love how the Foot Clan, when they're not fighting, they're working like Walmart employees. I don't know, I find that completely hilarious. And again, the voice acting is completely in sync with the live-action actors. That's really cool. Great training scene here with the turtles coming up. I love this scene. And there's really not much to it, mainly because a couple shots do repeat, like the middle shot and the ending shot. This one right here repeats like 3 times, but it's so expertly done that you never notice. Aw, Casey, why are you cutting with the sword? You don't know where that thing's been or who it's stabbed recently.